work security at DisneyWorld. Well, I mean I did. I work in security at DisneyWorld, the happiest place on earth. Typically, I wouldn't say where I work, as obviously there are some pretty strict rules about things employees are allowed to put online. But I just don't think I can tell this properly without any context. And honestly, I think this may be it for me anyway with this job. I just can't see myself working here any longer. I've been with the company for 23 years. The first 20, I worked in the parks, nabbing shoplifters and rounding up people who are drinking a little bit too much. And occasionally, there'd be a fight to break up, but people usually kept it mild. I mean, we are at Disneyland after all. The heat and walking was getting too much for me the past few years, so I asked to be transferred somewhere else, somewhere with an AC. And the company ended up moving me to one of their resorts. While the working conditions were 110% better as far as climate and comfort go, the guest issues were a lot trickier, mainly domestic. I guess the expenses and the stresses of vacation got to a lot of people, and I'd be called by neighboring rooms just because some mom and dad were yelling at each other. I'd try to suggest they go take a nap or go do some separate activities for a bit, and that would usually calm them down. But none of that is what I'm here for right now. I've got to get this out while I still have time. 3 days ago, I got a call from management. Apparently, a couple of days before that, housekeeping had went into a room that should have been turned over that day. Turned over is when one guest leaves around 11 a.m. and another guest checks in around 3 p.m. But all of the guest items were still in said room. Housekeeping made a note of it and moved on. But during the next 2 days when they entered the room, everything was still there and untouched. I went to check it out, and sure enough, there was an empty room full of luggage, clothes, snacks, some toys, everything a family would need for vacation. Just no family. The manager had already looked up the previous reservation, and it was a family. A dad, a mom, and 2 kids. I tried to call the phone numbers they had given, but all I got was voicemail. So we were a bit stumped until I made the call that the housekeeper should just clean out the room and take the family's personal items until we got in contact with them. I went digging into the reservation a little bit more. The family had arrived 5 days before housekeeping discovered all of their stuff. I found that the family had paid a parking fee and their vehicle description was listed. A quick walk of the parking lot and I had easily located their vehicle, so that ruled out a car accident or them deciding to just leave all their stuff behind. Next, I saw that they had bought a dining plan. This is when a guest prepays for all of their food. They're given a certain number of credits to use for their meals here. This family had only used 3 credits, and the last one was 2 days after they had checked in. It appeared that the day they arrived, they got here late and probably just stayed in the resort. The next day, they used 2 credits at Epcot. The second park day, they used just 1 credit at Magic Kingdom, and this was around breakfast time. Now here at Disney, we have something called magic bands. Magic bands are worn by guests, and they act as a room key, a park ticket, a credit card, a dining room reservation payment, a fast pass, and more. It took some work, but I was finally able to look up this family's fast pass history, which we always have logged. The day they went to the Magic Kingdom, they had breakfast at a restaurant in the park, rode a couple of rides, then rode their last ride, which was It's a Small World, around 11 a.m. Then just nothing. Finally, I decided it was time to bring someone else in on this. I called an old coworker at Magic Kingdom and asked him to pull security footage for It's a Small World at around the time they wrote it, and I made my way over there. When I got there, my friend was very confused, almost distraught looking. He showed me what he had found. There's usually a camera in the direction of where rides load and unload. The footage showed them scanning their bands to use fast passes for the ride and boarding the ride. The footage from the exit, however, just showed other people getting off the ride. Our little family wasn't there. So, of course, we assumed the worst. Maybe one of the kids had fallen out, and mom and dad and the other kid got off in the middle of the ride to help, and they all ended up injured or killed or ended up stuck in the machinery somewhere. So, we shut down the ride. Middle of the damn day, too. Turned off that earworm music and turned out the lights. Me and my buddy walked that ride at least 3 times before we called in help. And eventually, before we knew it, there was close to 10 cast members searching, and we didn't find shit except for 3 cell phones and 1 hat. I was stumped. I've kept digging the past couple of days, and I'm not sure who to tell what I found next. I've called the police, and I suppose they're on their way. But the company has a way of covering up things like this, and I decided I can't live with myself if I don't put this out anywhere, if I don't give you guys some type of warning. So, here it is. I kept digging into their reservation over the last couple of days, and I noticed they had purchased a memory maker. There are photographers all over the park and cameras at a lot of the ends of the ride, you know. As soon as the final drop or the big finale, they usually like to take a snapshot of the family. And then you have to pay a ridiculous amount of money to keep the photo that they took of you. But with this memory maker, all of the photos are free. And they automatically get added to a guest Disney account where the system knows their picture has been taken. And trust me, the system always knows. Everyone's whereabouts are always known with this magic band. Well, anyway, I opened up their memory maker photo album, and I swear, there was 732 pictures. The first 30 or so are pretty normal. Epcot, a few rides, a few in front of the castle. But the rest are all in It's a Small World. The ride only takes 1 picture per go-around, so it appears as though this family has ridden this ride over 700 times. The first picture was pretty normal. Everyone looked happy. It was a busy day, and a car full of guests drifted through the water. The next one is hard to look at. The car is empty except for this little family, and they look so darn confused as to where they are. The next 10 to 15, I can see Dad getting angry and yelling. Mom is holding onto the 2 kids like her life depended on it, and you can see the kids starting to cry. But it goes on and on and on. After 50 or so, it looks like they're trying to get out of the boat. In one, the dad is missing. In another, they're all gone. Maybe like they bailed early in the ride and tried to walk out. But in the very next one, they're all right back where they were, in that damn car. After about 450 or so, I only see the mom and the kids. It's just when I look closely I can finally see the dad, or whatever was left of him now, slumped down in one of the other seats. Since about 675, there's just mom and 1 kid, another body in another seat. The mom and the kid aren't moving anymore. I think the 2 of them are still alive, staring straight ahead, pale with not a single thought behind their eyes. but sitting there all the less. I swear on my fucking life that the dolls were moving as well. In some of these pictures, I can tell they aren't where they are supposed to be. And I even saw one inside the boat with our little family. I can't look anymore, or I'm going to lose my lunch. I close the album, and its file size has increased ever since I opened it. God, are they adding new pictures? I see on the security camera that the local PD just arrived, so they'll take over soon. I wish I knew what the fuck was going on, but I also wish this damn thing had never landed in my lap. I don't think I'll be able to update this. After I talk to the police, I think I'm gonna walk out of here and never come back. I just wanted to get out of there before Disney feeds the media some bullshit cover-up as to why a whole family just disappeared. But they didn't just disappear. I know exactly where they are.